What's going on, YouTube? It's Ethan Weisfeld here with episode 2 of the Ethan Weisfeld Show, and we're looking at Apple's homepage here. Today we're going to be talking about why Apple has one of the strongest brands in the world. And if you're not familiar with Apple, we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into what products and services Apple sells. But not only that, we're going to be watching a TikTok that talks about how big the economic moat is for Apple. That's a little bit later in the video. If you want to skip to that, I'm going to try to put up chapters. This is my first time with chapters, so bear with me, but I'm pretty sure I can figure it out. Let's start with Apple's biggest product, iPhone 14, big and better. They're basically making very minimal upgrades between iPhone models at this point, and their margins have gone crazy. And when I mean crazy, they have experienced rapid expansion, and we'll get into that. So let's just go through their newest product, their newest iPhone, and kind of break it down for you guys, understand why this is such a popular product, and yeah, let's go do that. So there's two different iPhones. There's the iPhone 14 and there's the iPhone 14 Plus. There's also an intermediary model, the iPhone 14 Pro. Longest battery life. I feel like this is something they always say every single year to try to one-up themselves, but realistically, the new models, the iPhone 13, iPhone 13 and iPhone 14 experience very similar battery life. In my opinion, at least. I mean, maybe that's not backed up by statistic, but from what I've seen online, that's my experience of it. Got the emergency SOS. Yeah, just in general, these are very minimal upgrades from the iPhone 13. Got some low light photos, trying to beat out that DSLR alternative or mirrorless camera. Got all these different colors, more optionality. I always like to see optionality with companies like this. And yeah, this is the Canadian website, by the way, so the numbers are a little bit skewed, and we'll see that when we go to buy. Let's take a look at what the prices are looking like right now. So I don't know why the iPhone 14 Pro isn't here. Let's just go with their cheaper model, right? Like, you want to get 128 gigabytes. It's 1.1k Canadian. So for an iPhone Pro Max, costs $501, and they sell it at a base price of $100. So that's a 119% markup. And I think this is going to see expansion over the next years, right? We're going to see these margins get even better. Apple has such an economic moat in the phones business. It's almost impressive. Most of my friends have iPhones. It's almost to the point where if someone has an Android, it's weird. And that's a really interesting thing. They have a very big competitive advantage in this space. I mean, Samsung technology is awesome, but people just prefer Apple's products. I think it has to do mostly with the software. It's just one of their products, okay? Let's take a look at like some of their other products. I mean, we got the Mac. I'm sure you guys are familiar with this. They got the MacBook Air, MacBook Pro. There's the Mac Mini, the iMac. Mac Studio. The AirPods, the world's best wireless headphones, are getting even better. You got the watch business, seemingly experiencing very limited hardware updates annually, but they're still selling like crazy. They're definitely the most popular smartwatch on the market, and I see this getting only better. We've seen rumors about Apple getting more serious about their watch game and kind of making it like a healthcare provider on your wrist, which is insane if you think about it, and that's something that potentially could happen in the next 10 years. And if you look at their revenue here, you could see here how much money Apple's making. They have a huge service business. Service business is their second biggest business, and that's something that's almost essential if you have a phone, right? It's very tedious to go and try to torrent and find music online that's actually good. It's just a very time consuming thing, and people would rather pay $5-10 a month. It's not even just Apple Music. If you actually look at the graph, you got Apple Plus Care, you got iCloud, Apple just recorded a 42.5% gross margin for the quarter, the highest in 9 years. This is last year. Their service business works on a 65 to 70% operating leverage. That is crazy. It's honestly unheard of that a company is able to pressure customers into paying whatever they want. It's like there's their products and services are inelastic to customer demand. It's almost like gas. It's like an essential service to society. Obviously, gas is way more essential, but it's gotten to that point. It almost has that stigma, right? And I want to watch a TikTok and just further prove my point.
Selling a 329 front door lock that can be unlocked.
That is correct. This is Level Lock's deadbolt, which coming in at $329 does not contain a single security pin. For comparison, this is the cheapest deadbolt I could find at Home Depot, which is also not particularly great, but even at 1/30th the cost of the Level Lock, at least it has a few security pins. Security pins aren't everything, but they are one of the cheapest and easiest ways to improve a lock's pick resistance. When you sell people a product that they are going to use to protect their families, belongings, tools, and other things that they need to make a living, they deserve to have a realistic expectation of the security that they are investing their money in. This is just my opinion, but spending $329 on something that cannot even compete with the bottom shelf of Home Depot's comedy aisle is investing.
Do you guys see this? Do you see how ridiculous this is? A $300 lock cannot prevent simple lock picking, okay? And this is Apple's product.
In a false sense of security.
I mean, I'm not a genius in lock picking, but if I could just hit a little hammer on my lock and it opens up the door, that is very, very low security. It almost goes against Apple's brand because they're known as a security leader and whatnot, but they are really taking advantage of their customers here because the product kind of sucks, right? Like this is definitely not a high quality product that we are used to from Apple, but they can push products like this because of their moat, and people will still buy them. And if they don't, it's an expense of the business. It's just something that they try out. It's a long shot. Many big tech companies have long shots.